definitions. Okay, so it says that in this act, unless there is anything repugnant in the subject or context, code includes rules. So section 2 clause 1 talks about code. Section 2 clause 2 talks about decree. Very, very important. Decree means the formal expression of an adjudication which, so far as regards the court, expressing it conclusively determines the right of the parties with regard to all or any of the matters in the controversy in the suit. Okay, and may be either preliminary or final. It shall be deemed to include the rejection of a plaint and the determination of any question within section 144. So rejection of a plaint is also a decree, right? Rejection of plaint is order 7, rule 11. If your plaint is rejected, it will be a decree, right? And what is section 144? Tell me. Section 144 is what? Yes, absolutely correct. Seema, Ashrita, correct. Gunjan, correct. That is restitution, right? That is restitution, section 144. Restitution. Since the word restitution is there, let me connect it with the contract. Okay, restitution, contract. Which section talks about restitution in contract? Tell me. Which section talks about restitution in contract? There are two sections, 64 and 65. 64, 65. 65 says what? 65 says that agar, if it is what? If it is void, declared to be void, then आपको जो है वो चीज रिटर्न करनी पड़ेगी या फिर कॉम्पनसेशन देना पड़ेगा, right? Remember, if the contract is declared to be void, right, then in that case that thing जो आपने gain करा है, that has to be returned. Remember, याद आ रहा है? Tell me. 65, 64, not remember? Ashrita, Gunjan, याद आया? अच्छा, contract declared to be void, तो कौन से सेक्शन में contract will be declared to be void? Contract becomes void under which section? देखो, since it is a crash course class, so therefore I will be asking you questions which are specifically being asked in the preliminary test. So I will be linking it with other statutes. Section 57 para 2, frustration, where a contract becomes void, right? ठीक है? All right, Ashrita, Garima, Gunjan, Seema, I hope that you are not revising your notes. Your section 57 para 2 talks about what? Frustration, that contract becomes void, right? Contract becomes void. तो जब contract becomes void हो जाएगा तो contract frustrate हो गया. तो section 65 देखोगे उसमें, I hope कि शायद मेरे पास होगा contract का, एक बार मैं आपको वो भी दिखाता हूँ. Just give me. All right. So now this is Indian Contract Act. Take out section 65. 65 says that when an agreement is discovered to be void or when a contract becomes void, any person who has received any advantage under such agreement or contract is bound to restore it or to make compensation for it to the person from whom he received it. तो अब ये दोबारा उसको रिवर्ट कर रहे हो because you are not entitled. तो दैट इज व्हाट सेक्शन 144 सेज कि अगर आपने कोई प्रॉपर्टी अपने पास रखी है 4-5 साल, उससे कोई इनकम हुई है और बाद में पता चलता है कि वो आपका कोई टाइटल नहीं है, तो वो सारी इनकम आपको रिटर्न करना पड़ेगा, रेस्टिट्यूट करना पड़ेगा, राइट? एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिकम्स वॉइड इज अंडर सेक्शन 57 पैरा 2, not 57, rather 56. This is 56, not 57. Kindly correct it. That is 56. Agreement to do impossible act. Para 2. a contract to do an act which after the contract is made becomes impossible or by reason of some event which the promisor could not prevent, unlawful becomes void when the act becomes impossible or unlawful. ठीक है, राइट? तो यहां पर भी रेस्टिट्यूशन की बात है सेक्शन 65 में, राइट? whereas we were reading about section 144, हालांकि मैंने उसका बस हल्का सा आपको डिस्क्राइब करा है restitution over here. So let us come back to again CPC. I hope that you have made this extra point. ठीक है, but shall not include, that means this is not decree, not decree. What is not a decree? Shall not include any adjudication from which an appeal lies as an appeal from an order. तो अगर कोई order है and an appeal lies from that order, then that is not a decree. Okay, right? अब जैसे मान लो, suppose let me ask you a question कि क्या order of temporary injunction is a decree? So answer is no. Okay, the temporary injunction का जो order, that is not a decree, that is interlocutory order. ठीक है, we will be coming to that later on. Any order of dismissal for default, any order for dismissal of for default, so that is also not a decree. A dismissal for default is given under which provision of CPC? Tell me. Your suit will be dismissed on default. Tell me. Any order of dismissal for default, it is given under which provision of CPC? Do you remember order 9? Order 9? Yes, Seema, correct. Order 9, rule 2, rule 3, rule 8. Right? Rule 2, when जब plaintiff ने PF फाइल नहीं करा, उसको बोला गया then it will be dismissed. Rule 3, when plaintiff और defendant दोनों नहीं आए. Rule 8, when plaintiff does not appear, then it is a default dismissal for default. It is a default of plaintiff, right? Are you revising your CPC? Tell me, कौन revise कर रहा है, कौन नहीं कर रहा है? You are giving me a blank faces. Ashrita, Garima, Gunjan, Seema. कोई बात नहीं, but I hope कि you are able to connect it. कोई बात नहीं, डू नॉट वरी, बट आप कनेक्ट कर पा रहे हो, इसको कनेक्ट कर पा रहे हो? टेल मी, यू आर एबल टू कनेक्ट इट? ठीक है, ठीक है, वेरी गुड, ठीक है. सो नाउ लेट अस प्रोसीड. देखो, यही मेरा मोटिव है कि आप कनेक्ट करो चीजों से, राइट? आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड सिंस इट वाज अ वेरी लॉन्ग ब्रेक एंड आपने शायद रिवाइज नहीं करा होगा, बट कोई बात नहीं, वी आर हियर टू रिवाइज, राइट? आई एम नॉट हियर टू टेक अ टेस्ट, आई एम नॉट हियर टू जज यू, आई एम हियर टू टेल यू. ठीक है, सो नाउ लेट अस प्रोसीड फर्दर वंस अगेन. तो ये दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इफ इट इज अ डिसमिसल फॉर डिफॉल्ट, क्वेश्चन आएगा आपके पास दैट इफ इट इज अ डिसमिसल फॉर डिफॉल्ट, whether it is a decree or whether it is a order. So it is not a decree, okay, right? But if it is a rejection of a plaint, then it will be a decree. The rejection of plaint को decree कहते हैं under section 2 clause 2. Okay, very very important, very very important. Explanation: a decree is preliminary when further proceedings have to be taken before the suit can be completely disposed. So there can be a preliminary decree. What it says, a decree is preliminary when further proceedings have to be taken before the suit can be completely disposed of. It is final when such adjudication completely disposes of the suit. It may be partly preliminary and partly final. So a decree can be partly preliminary or it can be partly final. It can be preliminary decree, it can be a final decree. Preliminary decree जैसे कि मान लो सपोज आपने सूट करा फॉर पार्टीशन, अब कोर्ट ने डिसाइड कर दिया कि हाँ पार्टीशन होना है, सो दैट इज व्हाट प्रिलिमिनरी डिक्री, दैट ठीक है पार्टीशन होना है. अब कितना कितना शेयर मिलेगा वो अभी डिसाइड होना है, दैट इज येट टू बी डिसाइडेड. सो दैट जब वो डिसाइड हो जाएगा देन इट विल बी फाइनल डिक्री. फाइनल डिक्री हो गया, दैट मींस देयर इज नथिंग लेफ्ट टू एडजुडिकेट. अब कुछ नहीं बचा है, सारी चीजें, एवरीथिंग इज हर्ड एंड फाइनली डिसाइडेड. सो इट विल बिकम a final decree. ठीक है, so rest I will be telling you in other classes. So this is important. A decree can be preliminary decree, a decree can be final decree, a decree can be part preliminary, a decree can be part finally. Okay, partly final, partly final. ठीक है. Next, clause 3, decree holder. So you have to remember these clause number also. Decree holder means any person in whose favor a decree has been passed or an order capable of execution has been made. Okay, so what it says, that any person in whose favor, जिसके favor में a decree has been passed, an order capable of execution has been made. Okay, so you are the decree holder. अगर आपको आपके favor में decree आई है तो you are the decree holder. You will be going it to the execution. Okay, next, clause 4, that is district. This is also important, can be asked in your PT. District means the local limits of the jurisdiction of a principal civil court of original jurisdiction. Okay, so what it says, district means the local limits of the jurisdiction of a principal civil court of original jurisdiction, hereinafter a district court. तो आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, district court is defined under which provision? So that is section 2 clause 4. ठीक है, very very important for your PT, right? District court, and includes the local limits of the ordinary original civil jurisdiction of a high court. Okay, so that is clause 4. Clause 5 is also very very important, foreign court. Clause 5, foreign court means a court situate outside India and not established or continued by the authority of the central government. Foreign court which is established outside India, which is not controlled by the Indian government, so usko foreign court bolenge. And foreign judgment is given just below, that is 2 clause 6, right? Foreign judgment means the judgment by a foreign court, right? So let me ask you a questions. This foreign judgment ke upar there are some sections in CPC. Which section talks about foreign judgment, and whether, yes Seema, absolutely correct, whether that judgment will act as a res judicata? Gunjan, correct. Ashrita, absolutely correct, very good Ashrita, wonderful Ashrita. ठीक है. Seema, okay, ठीक है. So res judicata will not apply, rather the rule of conclusivity, yes, the rule of conclusiveness will apply in case of foreign judgment if there, right? There is one more section, Ashrita, please tell me, of the Indian Evidence Act. Tell me, there is one more section. Yes, Seema, absolutely correct, very good Seema. So let me tell you the sections which are included with this, that is section 13, section 14 of CPC, right? We will be reading it. Section 44A, that is talking about reciprocating territory, right? For that there has to be what? Any general decree or a money decree or both? Tell me. 44A. Ashrita, incorrect. Seema, correct. For 44A there has to be a money decree only, which can directly be executed in India. Okay, general decree के लिए directly execute नहीं हो पाएगा. It has to be money decree and not in the form of taxes. It should not be in the form of taxes or fine. ठीक है? Okay, so 44A. अब एक और चीज पूछ लेते हैं question. That reciprocating territory is defined under which section? Reciprocating territory is defined under section 44A explanation 1. ठीक है? एक्सप्लेनेशन 1 में डिफाइन करते हैं रेसिप्रोकेटिंग टेरिटरी. ओके, अब जो रूल ऑफ एविडेंस की मैं बात कर रहा था, दैट इज सेक्शन 86 ऑफ इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट. तो यहां पर सेक्शन 86 ऑफ इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट विल आल्सो अप्लाई ओवर हियर इफ वी रीड सेक्शन 13 एंड 14. वी विल बी कमिंग टू दिस लेटर ऑन. जब हम अभी 13 और 14 आज ही करेंगे, I will be coming to this later on. वहां पे बेसिकली it will be a presumption, a conclusive presumption कि अगर आपने मैनर सही तरीके से आपने ऑब्टेन करा है फॉरेन जजमेंट, तो माना जाएगा that it is genuine and correct. That is what section 86 says. It is a presumption of conclusiveness. ठीक है? Clear? So foreign court, foreign judgment is clear. Tell me. तो ये क्वेश्चन काफी बार पूछा गया है that which section defines foreign court, which section defines foreign judgment. तो इसमें कंफ्यूज मत हो जाना. foreign court clause 5, foreign judgment clause 6. ठीक है? Do not get confused in this. Now next, government pleader. Government pleader includes any officer appointed by the state government to perform all or any of the functions expressly imposed by this code on the government pleader, and also any pleader acting under the directions of the government pleader. Under the directions of the government pleader. Okay. So government pleaders 7A High Court in relation to the Andaman and Nicobar Island means the High Court in Calcutta. Okay. 7B India. Let me ask you a question. India in IPC is defined under which section? Seema, correct? Yes, fast. All of you do. Write down fast. Over here, time is an essence. Let me ask you a connecting question with this. Time is an essence. Okay, first let me answer you this question. In IPC, section 18 defines India. Okay, section 18 in IPC defines India. Now I have used the word where time is an essence. So this in Indian Contract Act, if time is an essence, then it will make what? A voidable contract, a void agreement, या void contract. And under which section? Contract Act. Tell me. Ashrita, correct. Ashrita, correct. Tell me the section number also. Absolutely correct, Ashrita. Very good. Time is an essence. That is section 55. Okay. Time is the essence. Where time is the essence. और आपने अगर वो नहीं करा तो it will be voidable. It will render a contract voidable on the option of whose जिसने accept करना है. Right? ठीक है? Is it clear? So that is section 55 of Indian Contract Act. We will be reading it later on whenever we will be doing contract. ठीक है? ऑल राइट, तो उसको आप ये मार्क कर लेना. ये सारे एक्स्ट्रा चीजें हैं, ये काफी बार पूछेंगे, इसलिए आई एम टेलिंग यू राइट नाउ. ठीक है? आई एम लिंकिंग इट विद अदर डिफरेंट स्टैट्यूट्स. ठीक है? सो नाउ लेट अस प्रोसीड फर्दर. इंडिया एक्सेप्ट इन सेक्शन 1. तो ये दिस इज नॉट एक्सेप्शंस. ओके, इंडिया इट विल आल्सो इंक्लूड राइट नाउ व्हाट? स्टेट ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर. राइट? बाय व्हिच, ऑन व्हिच डेट इट वाज मेड? टेल मी, on which date it was made that India will apply on state of Jammu and Kashmir? Yes, absolutely correct, Gunjan, Seema, Ashrita. That is 31/10/2019. 31 October 2019. Okay, ठीक है? So ये 7B आप पढ़ लेना. IPC में section 18 है which defines India. Section 8, clause 8, judge means the presiding officer of a civil court. Okay, judge means the presiding officer of a civil court. 9, judgment means the judgment given by the court, given by the judge of the grounds of a decree or order. Right? Judgment means the statement given by the judge of the grounds of a decree or order. Right? So that is a judgment. It is given under 2 clause 9. 2 clause 10, judgment debtor. ये भी पूछते हैं. That judgment debtor is given. And decree holder. Decree holder कहां पे दे रखा था? Tell me. Decree holder was defined under which provision? Yes, 2 clause 3. Absolutely correct. And judgment debtor 2 clause 10. Okay, 2 clause 10 judgment debtor means any person against whom a decree has been passed or an order capable of execution has been made. ठीक है? So that is judgment debtor. This is also important. Legal representative. Since I am talking about legal representative, there is a section of in CPC, tell me which section talks about legal representative. There is one more specific section. Seema correct, Gunjan correct, Garima incorrect, Ashrita correct, Garima correct. So that is section 50. Absolutely correct. Legal representative means a person who in law represents the estate of a deceased person and includes any person who intermeddles with the estate of the deceased, and where a party sues or is sued in a representative character the person on whom the estate devolves on the death of the party or party so suing or sued. So that is the person is a legal representative. Okay. Okay, let me ask you a question then. When a party dies and there is no right to sue survive, then what will happen? Under which order? Ashrita correct, Gunjan correct, Seema incorrect, Ashrita correct. If the party dies and the right to sue does not survive upon the legal representative or upon the legal heir, then the suit will be abated under order 22. Okay, under order 22. मान लो सपोज सूट अबेट हो गया, राइट, later on you want to file a suit, then will res judicata section 11 will apply या फिर some other provision will apply? If the suit is already abated, then again a fresh suit wanted, a fresh suit institute होता है, तो क्या res judicata लगेगा section 11 या फिर some different provision will apply? Absolutely correct, Ashrita. Gunjan correct. Seema correct. Very good. So that is order 22. Rule 9 will apply. That is a rule of estoppel, but not res judicata. Section 11 will not apply. Okay? Rule of estoppel will apply. Order 22, rule 9. Okay? So abatement is given under order 22. Very good. Okay? So now let us read further. Mean profit or Mesne profit. Mean profit, it is defined under 212 of profit. Property means those profits which the person in wrongful possession of such property actually received or might with ordinary diligence have received therefrom, together with interest on such profits, but shall not include profit due to improvements made by the person in wrongful possession. Okay, due to improvements made by the person in wrongful possession. So therefore, this is what mean profit. So whether mean profit is having a different cause of action, yes or no? Ashrita correct, Seema correct, Gunjan correct. So mean profit is having a different cause of action. Where it is written? Ashrita absolutely correct. Very good. So that is order 2 rule 4 that suggests that it can be clubbed together, right? Without order 2 rule 4 क्या कहता है that आपको अगर cause of action join करने हैं तो you require the permission, but in certain cases you need not require the permission, and in which case you need not require, तो उनमें से एक केस है mean profit कि अगर mean profit का भी है तो आपको परमिशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, you can club the cause of action, right? This is what it is written in order 2 rule 4. ठीक है, let us read further. मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी एब्सोल्युटली इंपॉर्टेंट. मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. अच्छा, आपके हरियाणा में टीपीए तो नहीं है, राइट? मूवेबल टीपीए इज नॉट देयर इन हरियाणा, बट इन राजस्थान डू दे आस्क टीपीए? टेल मी. ओके, राजस्थान में टीपीए है. ओके, ठीक है. ओके, मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी इंक्लूड्स ग्रोइंग क्रॉप्स. ठीक है. मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी आपका इन Sale of Goods Act, it is defined under which section? Tell me. And also in TPA. Movable property. Transfer of Property Act. Tell me. Ashrita, correct? Ashrita, correct? टीपीए में सेक्शन 3 में दे रखा है मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. in transfer of property act it is 3. yes, immovable और movable दोनों दे रखे हैं उसमें, right? और सेल ऑफ गुड्स एक्ट में एक बार डू कंफर्म इट वेदर इट इज इन सेक्शन 2 clause 6 और नॉट. डू कंफर्म इट, बट यस, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली इट इज गिवन अंडर सेक्शन 2 clause 6 इन सेल ऑफ गुड्स एक्ट. ठीक है, एक बार आप चेक कर लेना. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज ऑर्डर, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. 2 clause 14, 2 clause 2 that is decree, 2 clause 14 that is order. Okay, warrant is defined under which section of CRPC? Warrant case. Seema, correct? In CRPC, tell me, warrant case is defined under which section? Ashrita, correct? That is section 2 clause X. Okay, Gunjan? 2 clause X में warrant case defined हो रखा है. Summons case, tell me. Yes, Seema, correct. Ashrita, correct. Gunjan, correct. That is 2 clause W. 2W, summons case. ठीक है, we will be doing that later. Order means the formal expression of any decision of a civil court which is not a decree. So that is the order. 2 clause 15, pleader means any person entitled to appear and plead for another in court and includes an advocate, vakil or an attorney of a high court. Prescribed, this is important. Prescribed means prescribed by rules. Prescribed by rules. Now let me ask you a question. Prescribed period is defined under which section of Limitation Act? Prescribed period. Very good, Seema. There is prescribed period and your prescribed period of limitation. That is section 2J. Okay, that is section 2J. Section 2J. Okay, Ashrita. So prescribed period is defined under section 2J of Limitation Act. तो ये भी कई बार पूछा गया है, तो you should know this. Okay, very very important. ठीक है, देखो I will be again connecting it, तो do not get confused, right? कि मैं CPC पढ़ा रहा हूँ तो लिमिटेशन में पहुंच जाऊंगा, CRPC में पहुंच जाऊंगा. I will be connecting it, right? ठीक है. So now pleader we have done 215, prescribed we have done. Prescribed means prescribed by rules. 17, public officer. Now there is public servant in IPC. Which section talks about public servant? Ashrita, correct? Public servant in IPC. Gunjan, correct. Garima, incorrect. Seema, correct. That is section 21. 21 in IPC. Public servant define हो रखा है. यहाँ पे public officer है. Okay, so means a person falling under any of the following descriptions, namely every judge, every member of all India services, right? You may read it by yourself. आप इसको अपने आप पढ़ लेना, right? This is important. कहाँ पे 217 में public officer define करा हुआ है. ये पूछते हैं question that public officer is defined under which section? So that is section 217, right? And public servant in IPC, that is 21. ठीक है. Now, next 18, that is rules. Rules means rules and forms contained in the first schedule or made under section 122 or section 125. 19, share in corporation shall be deemed to include stock, debentures or bonds. 20, signed, save in the case of a judgment or decree includes stamped. Okay, it also includes stamped. So these are the important, right, definition. These are the important clauses ऑफ सेक्शन 2। ठीक है, क्लियर है? आई होप जो भी मैंने आपको एक्स्ट्रा बताया होगा वो आपने लिख लिया होगा। नाउ लेट अस रीड द मेन प्रोविजंस। सेक्शन 3 पढ़ते हैं। सेक्शन 3 दैट इज सबऑर्डिनेशन ऑफ कोर्ट, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। It says for the purposes of this code, the district court is subordinate to the high court. Okay, the district court is subordinate to the high court, and every civil court of a grade inferior to that of a district court and every court of small causes is subordinate to the high court and the district court. So first high court, district court, district court के नीचे civil courts and the court of small causes. So they are subordinate to district court and the high court also. ठीक है, that is given under section 3. Savings you may skip it, आप छोड़ सकते हो। सेक्शन 5 में रेवेन्यू कोर्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है। सेक्शन 5 इसका रेवेन्यू कोर्ट, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, वी विल बी रीडिंग इट लेटर, बट फर्स्ट लेट अस रीड इट द मेन प्रोविजन वेयर एनी रेवेन्यू कोर्ट्स आर गवर्नड बाय द प्रोविजंस ऑफ दिस कोड इन दोज मैटर्स ऑफ प्रोसीड्योर upon which any special enactment applicable to them is silent. The state government may by notification, देखो यहाँ state government है, यहाँ पे high court नहीं है। Okay, so it is state government, be very careful. State government by notification, state government may by notification in the official gazette declare that any portions of those provisions which are not expressly made applicable by this code shall not apply to those codes or shall not apply to them with such modifications as the state government may prescribe. Revenue court in subsection 1 means a court having jurisdiction under any local law to entertain suits or other proceedings relating to the rent, revenue or profits of land used for the agricultural purposes, but does not include, this is important, does not include civil court having original jurisdiction under this code to try such suits or proceeding as being suits or proceeding of a civil nature. Okay, so it will not be that court which is trying a suit of civil nature, rather it is what, it is a special court. ठीक है, रेवेन्यू कोर्ट अलग होते हैं, इनका अलग केसेस जाते हैं इनके पास, so it does not include the normal courts. This is important. Clear? Now let me ask you this question. Court of this suit of civil nature, that is given under which section? Oh, I have written that. So that is, yes, that is given section under section 9, suit of civil nature. ठीक है, okay, ठीक है, let us proceed. Pecuniary jurisdiction, very very important. Pecuniary jurisdiction, they will be asking you the section number. Okay, pecuniary jurisdiction, save insofar as is otherwise expressly provided, nothing herein contained shall operate to give any court jurisdiction over suits the amount or value of the subject matter of which exceeds the pecuniary limit, if any, of its ordinary jurisdiction. So there is a pecuniary jurisdiction. Okay, section 6 talks about pecuniary jurisdiction. Okay, so now section 6, that is pecuniary jurisdiction, very very important, right? Section 7 you may skip, section 7, right? You may skip section 7, not very important. Section 8 you may skip, not very important. Section 9, very very important, very 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 important. Part 1, suits in general, jurisdiction of the courts and res judicata. Okay, so section 9 is very important. Now section 9 क्या कहता है? The court shall, subject to the provisions herein contained, have jurisdiction to try all suits of civil nature excepting suits of which their cognizance is either expressly or impliedly barred. So this is what the court shall, subject to the provisions herein contained. Herein contained means what? Restrictions within CPC. Herein contained means restrictions within CPC. Okay, have jurisdiction to try all suits of civil nature excepting suits of which their cognizance is either expressly or impliedly barred. तो ये either expressly or impliedly barred, ये किसके बारे में बात कर रहा है? Tell me. The restrictions which are in different statutes, in other statutes. Okay. Yes, very good, Seema. Okay, the restrictions they are talking about in the latter part, the restrictions are of other statutes, दूसरे statutes में. But जो restrictions CPC में है, that is covered over here. Provision herein contained. So this is within CPC. This is outside CPC. That is in other statutes. ठीक है. Now further it says explanation. Explanation 1. A suit in which the right to property or to an office is contested is a suit of civil nature, notwithstanding that such right may depend entirely on the decision of questions as to religious rites or ceremonies. Explanation 2. Where the purposes of this section, it is immaterial whether or not any fees are attached to the office referred to explanation 1, or whether or not such office is attached to a particular place. Okay, so now tell me, section 9 is clear? There are some case laws to this. Write down the case law. That is, where should I write? Okay, let me write it. Write down the case law. That is Dhulabhai versus State of MP. Dhulabhai versus State of MP. That is 1968 Supreme Court. 1968 Supreme Court. That was delivered by Muhammad Hidayat Ullah, Chief Justice. Okay. Dhulabhai versus State of Madhya Pradesh, delivered by Muhammad Hidayat Ullah, Chief Justice. There is another case law, that is Most Reverend PMA Metropolitan versus Moran Man, MAN Mathoma, 1995 Supreme Court. Okay, delivered by RM Sahai Justice. RM Sahai Justice, delivered by RM Sahai Justice. That was a 5 judges bench. ठीक है. और इसमें yes, these two case laws are important over here. ठीक है. In section 9. Section 9 में basically they will be telling you that what is civil nature. Suit of civil nature, right? Suit of civil nature is basically their primary legal right should be civil legal right. Primary legal right should be civil, pure civil legal right. Plus there are some social or religious rights are also involved. This is called suit of civil nature. Okay, right? Okay, so now let us proceed further. Now section 9 is clear. ठीक है, तो ये ही इंपॉर्टेंट है सेक्शन 9 में, और ज्यादा अभी पीटी के हिसाब से और नहीं है. सेक्शन 9 में बस यही है, कोर्ट्स टू ट्राई ऑल सूट्स अनलेस बार्ड. ठीक है, सो नाउ लेट अस रीड सेक्शन 10. Section 10 is basically talking about res subjudice. Okay, res subjudice. So it says that no court shall proceed with the trial of any suit in which the matter in issue is also directly and substantially in issue in a previously instituted suit between the same parties or between the parties under whom they or any of them claim litigating under the same title, where such suit is pending in the same or any other court in India, have jurisdiction to grant the relief claimed, or in any court beyond the limits of India established or continued by the central government and having like jurisdiction or before the Supreme Court. Okay. Okay, Seema is saying that, so please tell us the difference between the civil suit and suit of civil nature. देखो, civil suit is that suit where your pure civil rights are involved, whereas suit of civil nature में civil rights के साथ साथ some social or religious issues are also involved. So therefore that will be called a suit of civil nature. यहाँ पे आपका डोमेन बड़ा हो जाएगा। ओके, वेरा सिविल सूट में सिर्फ प्योरली सिविल लीगल राइट्स आर इन्वॉल्व, वेरा सिविल नेचर में सिविल राइट्स के साथ साथ some issues related to social or religious issues are also involved. ठीक है, that is suit of civil nature, right? ठीक है, let us proceed further. Now this section 10 is basically talking about res subjudice. तो क्या ये res subjudice issues पर लगता है या पूरे entire suit पर लगता है? Tell me. Ashwita correct, Seema incorrect. Yes, Gunjan. बताइए, गरिमा, tell me. So it applies only on the entire suit, not on the issues. Unlike res judicata. Res judicata issues पर भी लगता है और entire suit पर भी लगता है. But this res sub judice applies to the entire suit, not to the particular issues. But मान लो suppose आपने एक केस कर दिया यूएसए में और एक केस कर दिया दिल्ली में, तो क्या यूएस वाला केस will apply as a res sub judice to the Indian court? Tell me. So that is written in the explanation. The answer is no. Okay, the pendency of a suit in a foreign court does not preclude the courts in India from trying a suit founded on the same cause of action. तो अगर आपका फॉरेन में कोई सूट पेंडिंग है, वही सेम सूट इंडिया में भी पेंडिंग है, तो सेक्शन 10 विल नॉट अप्लाई. ओके, राइट, सेक्शन 10 विल नॉट अप्लाई. बट मान लो सपोज कि दो सूट पेंडिंग है इंडिया में ही, कॉम्पिटेंट कोर्ट्स है, बट सेक्शन 10 लगने के बाद भी, रेस्ट सब्जुडाइज लगने के बाद भी उस कोर्ट ने उसको ट्राई करा और डिक्री पास कर दी. Now what will be the validity of that decree? Will it be valid? Will it be void? Ashwita correct, Seema correct, Garima incorrect. Gunjan, you are not replying, you are not responding. Ashwita, ठीक है, very good. So that court will be what? That decree will be still valid. That decree will be valid. No doubt section 10 लग गया, उसके बाद भी आपने अगर उसको ट्राई कर दिया और डिक्री पास कर दी, then that decree will be valid and that decree will act as res judicata to the pending suit. ठीक है, ओके. और जो डिक्री आ गई उसको आप क्या बोलोगे? फॉर्मर सूट बोल दोगे. और जो कोर्ट पेंडिंग है, जो सूट पेंडिंग है, उसको आप क्या बोलोगे? सब्सिक्वेंट सूट बोलोगे फॉर द पर्पसेस ऑफ सेक्शन 11. समझ में आया? गॉट इट? टेल मी. वेरी गुड अश्विता, वेरी गुड सीमा. यस गुंजन, यू आर नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग, नाइदर गरिमा. ठीक है, so now let us proceed. I believe they might have the network issue. Let us proceed. Section 11. Section 11 is talking about res judicata. Okay, there is a section in Indian Evidence Act. Tell me which section gives or manifest the res judicata. Seema correct, absolutely correct Seema. Yes Ashwita, बताइए. Ashwita correct. Gunjan and Garima, tell me. Let me repeat my question. In Indian Evidence Act, there is a particular section which also resembles res judicata. Garima incorrect. Garima, this is section 40. You are saying 97. That is incorrect. आप 97 शायद सीआरपीसी का बोल रहे हो, वहां पर हेबियस कॉर्पस की बात हुई है. सो ऑलवेज देखो, एक और चीज मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि डू नॉट स्टडी अंडर प्रेशर, क्योंकि प्रेशर में क्या है, ओके लेट मी पॉज दिस, और ठीक है लेट मी नॉट पॉज इट, रिकॉर्ड होने दो. डू नॉट स्टडी इन प्रेशर, अंडर प्रेशर, because if you start studying under pressure you will be getting the true knowledge or right knowledge, but आप उसको ना सही तरीके से अपने दिमाग में कंपाइल नहीं कर पाओगे बिकॉज ऑफ अंडर प्रेशर. और जब टाइम आएगा बताने का, आंसर करने का, क्वेश्चन लिखने का, तब वो सारा कोलैप्स हो जाएगा. इट्स जस्ट लाइक आपने देखा होगा बच्चों को आता है ना जेंगा, जेंगा आता है, ब्लॉक्स होते हैं राइट, ब्लॉक्स के ऊपर ब्लॉक्स रखते हो, कभी टेढ़ा रखते हो, कभी ऐसे रखते हो, टावर बनाते हो. तो अगर एक ब्रिक निकल गई तो ये सारा कोलैप्स हो जाएगा. सो ऑलवेज डू नॉट स्टडी under any kind of pressure. Just be relaxed and try to understand what I am saying or what that book is saying. ठीक है, then only you will be able to retain that portion, otherwise it would be difficult. ठीक है, just and in case if you are not able to concentrate, start doing yoga और या फिर meditate करो. ठीक है, all right, let us proceed further. Res judicata. No court shall try any suit or issue in which the matter directly and substantially in issue has been directly and substantially in issue in a former suit between the same parties or between the parties under whom they or any of them claim litigating under the same title in a court competent to try such subsequent suit or the suit in which such issue has been subsequently raised and has been heard and finally decided by such court. ओके, सो दिस रेस जुडिकाटा आई होप कि आप सबको आता होगा, बट स्टिल वी आर डूइंग अ रिवीजन क्लास. सो लेट मी आस्क यू सम क्वेश्चंस. दिस रेस जुडिकाटा अप्लाइज टू द इश्यूज और सूट या ए और बी या ए एंड बी. दिस इज ए, दिस इज बी. नाउ टेल मी सी डी. नाउ विच ऑप्शन? रेस जुडिकाटा अप्लाइज either on the suits या फिर entire suit. This is issues या फिर suit या फिर A और B, A and B. You will be getting this question, similar question, ऐसी question पूछा जाएगा. So the correct answer is C, A और B, that is suit और issue. ठीक है अश्विता, सूट और इशू. सो ये यही क्वेश्चन होंगे जो आपको परेशान करेंगे. और एंड बी, एंड और एंड वाली जो चीज है यही आपको परेशान करेगा, बाकी आपको सब आता है, आई नो इट. सो देयरफॉर बी वेरी 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 केयरफुल कि क्वेश्चन में पूछा क्या है और प्रोविजन में क्या लिखा है. ठीक है, ऑल राइट. सो नाउ res judicata applies to either issue or on the entire suit. Okay, ठीक है, all right. So now section 11, इसमें section 40 इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट में भी है ये सेम चीज. Now how many explanations are there in section 11? How many explanations are there in section 11? Seema, Ashwita correct, Garima correct. So there are 8 explanations. Constructive res judicata is given under which explanation? Correct. ठीक है, all of you are correct. And execution res judicata is also applies to the execution. Which explanation talks about it? Seema, Ashrita correct, Garima incorrect. That is 7, explanation 7. Okay, it does not apply upon relief. Which explanation talks about it? Seema correct. Res judicata does not apply directly upon the relief. Explanation 5. देखो explanation 5 देखो. Any relief claimed in the plaint which is not expressly granted by the decree shall for the purpose of this section be deemed to have been refused. Deemed to have been refused. तो यहां पर क्या है, दैट the relief portion it is dealt under explanation 5. However, the section 11 will not apply. Rather, which provision will apply? अगर आपने दो रिलीफ में से एक ही रिलीफ क्लेम करा है, तो बाद में यू कैन नॉट इंस्टीट्यूट अ फ्रेश सूट claiming the relief which you have relinquished. Seema, Ashrita, correct. That is order 2 rule 2. Gunjan, you are also absolutely correct. However, Gunjan, where were you? You are giving us late reply. I was asking questions to you also अभी थोड़े टाइम पहले. Okay, I believe that lunch time हो गया होगा, तो कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है. Okay. So now कोई बात नहीं. So explanation 1 पढ़ते हैं. Let us read explanation 1. So it says that the expression former suit shall denote a suit which has been decided prior to a suit in question, whether or not it was instituted prior thereto. Right? So it does not matter कि वो पहले इंस्टीट्यूट हुआ था या बाद में इंस्टीट्यूट हुआ. व्हाट मैटर इज कि पहले कौन सा डिसाइड हुआ. तो अगर बाद में जो आपने सूट इंस्टीट्यूट करा वो पहले डिसाइड हो जाएगा, तो उसको हम बोलेंगे फॉर्मर सूट for the purpose of res judicata. This is what it says in explanation 1. Explanation 2, for the purposes of this section, the competence of a court shall be determined irrespective of any provision as to right of appeal from the decision of such court. Explanation 3, the matter above referred to must in the former suit have been alleged by one party and either denied or admitted expressly or impliedly by other. Explanation 4, any matter which might and ought to have been made ground of defense or attack in such former suit. Yes, please come in. Just give me a minute. Yes. Okay, let us proceed. Shall for the purpose of this section be deemed to have been refused. That is constructive res judicata. Since we are talking about constructive res judicata, क्या फॉरेन जजमेंट भी में भी कंस्ट्रक्टिव रेस जुडिकाटा लगता है? टेल मी, डज इट अप्लाई कंस्ट्रक्टिव रेस जुडिकाटा इन फॉरेन जजमेंट? आश्रिता, सीमा, करेक्ट. गुंजन, करेक्ट. So the answer is no. Okay, the answer is no. But in Indian courts, it applies according to explanation 4. Explanation 5 we have discussed. Explanation 6, that is what? That is representative suit के बारे में बात करता है, where persons litigate bona fide in respect of a public right or of a private right claimed in a common for themselves and others. All persons interested in such right shall, for the purposes of this section, be deemed to claim under the person so litigating. Okay, so they are talking about the representative suit. So representative suit can be filed under which provision? Gunjan, correct. Ashrita, correct. So what you have to have over there, क्या होना चाहिए? सेम कॉज ऑफ एक्शन होना चाहिए या कुछ और? सीमा, करेक्ट. टेल मी. That is, same interest should have been there, not same cause of action. For the purpose of representative suit, the person should have the same interest, not the same cause of action. ठीक है? Clear है everyone? Order 1 rule 8. ठीक है? I believe it is clear. Now explanation 7. The provisions of this section shall apply to a proceeding for the execution of a decree, and references in this section to any suit, issue, or former suit shall be construed as references respectively to a proceedings for the execution of a decree, question arising in such proceeding, and a formal proceeding for the execution of that decree. So that means that ये जो है क्या नाम है, res judicata also applies in case of execution proceedings. Okay, so explanation 7 talks about res judicata also applies in execution proceedings. Explanation 8. An issue heard and finally decided by a court of limited jurisdiction competent to decide such issue shall operate as res judicata in a subsequent suit, notwithstanding that such court of limited jurisdiction was not competent to try such subsequent suit or the suit in which such issue has been subsequently raised. So that is, they are talking about what? Incompetency. Ki just because former court was incompetent to try the today's suit, that does not make him incompetent. Okay, कि फॉर्मर कोर्ट जो पहले वाला कोर्ट था, आज के टाइम पर आज वाले सूट को जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ लिमिटेड जुरिस्डिक्शन वो ट्राई नहीं कर सकता, तो उसको इनकॉम्पिटेंट नहीं बोलेंगे. ओके, दैट इज एक्सप्लेनेशन 8. I will be discussing this more in my regular class. ठीक है, so now tell me, is it clear? Section 11 is clear. Now in this section 11, let me dictate you some maxims. I hope आपको मालूम होगा ये maxim, but still let me tell you. That is, interest republicae, ut sit finis litium. What it means? Tell me. Interest republicae ut sit finis litium. बताइए. Absolutely correct, Ashrita. Absolutely correct, Gunjan. Very good. So let me read. That is, Ashrita says that it is in the interest of the state that litigation should be end. There should be an end to the litigation. Gunjan says it's always in the interest of the state to finish litigation conclusively. ठीक है, absolutely correct. Let me give you a different maxim. That is, nemo debet less vexari. Nemo debet bis vexari pro una et etadem causa. Very good. ठीक है. Garima correct. Tell me, all of you. Yes, Gunjan, correct. For the same cause of action, you should not be vexed twice. Okay, no person shall be vexed twice for the same cause of action. For the same cause. Very good. ठीक है. Next, that is res judicata pro vexitate occipitur. Res judicata pro vexitate occipitur. Tell me. बताइए. It means that judicial decisions should be accepted as correct and should be final. Okay, the judicial decisions should be accepted as correct and should be final. Okay, that is what it means. Okay. So res judicata does not apply upon habeas corpus, as you all know, right? Res judicata does not apply upon habeas corpus, writ of habeas corpus. And write down one case law, that is Sulochana Amma versus Narayan Nair. Narayan Nair. 1994 Supreme Court. This is also related to the res judicata. Okay. And Yes, I believe these are the few important things of res judicata. Okay. There is one more case law, that is Shivda Singh versus Darya Cover. Shivdan Singh versus Darya Kanwar. Okay, right? 1966 Supreme Court. Right? Okay. So I'm concluding it over here only today. Okay. Tell me, do you have any doubt in today's class? We will be taking it from here from tomorrow. Tell me, do you have any doubt, any questions? Ashwita, Garima, Gunjan, Seema? No doubts? Okay, let me close this recording.